All right, so it's 3 minutes till. We don't have anyone coming in yet, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So let's let's go ahead. Front page. I'm pretty sure this is self-explanatory. Let's go ahead and I'll just talk a little bit about class design. So we're gonna have 3 units split up into 2 sections each. All right. And each section, you're going to have a section project. And each unit, you'll have a PowerPoint to cover the whole unit, and it'll be split up into 2 halves. We're going to go over that. All right, quizzes. And I'm really going to go over a lot of the stuff that's in the syllabus. So this is essentially what it is. Mostly just to make sure people have something they can listen to and go through to understand what's going on, because sometimes reading through it isn't enough, I've found. All right, so let's jump on. I think that the biggest thing I want to talk about, one of the 2 biggest things, is with the discussions. So, or specifically the videos. So hopefully you read through here and you understand generally what's going on. Actually, I'm going to go to discussion 2. So I want you to post a video. Now, the one thing I want you to understand is you might be wondering, what are the topics? The topics are these here, these comments that I've made where it says bone parts, and the S stands for slides 67 to 68. Okay, and so that constitutes a topic. Now you'll notice here that students must post videos covering a minimum of 2 topics. Now I want to use as an example for kind of all-encompassing is here, where Melissa's posted her video, and she's posted one. Now I didn't see here that she's posted any other topics. So far, she has not received any credit, and the reason is, and the reason I'm bringing this up isn't to say anything about Melissa, but just as an example that I've seen a couple times actually. So you need to cover 2 topics, and she's posted in 1, so that means she needs to find another topic and post videos that cover that topic. Now you'll notice my comment here. So you need to cover 2 topics, but this video, if you were to actually watch it, not only does it cover the information on slides 71 and 72, but it also covers the information on slides 73 and 74, which covers this topic, and it also covers the information right here, slides 75 and 76. So it covers this topic. So really, this one video covers 3 topics. So here she actually has, welcome Anthony, here she actually has covered, all right, 2 topics, but she hasn't posted it in both of those topics. So the reason I'm being such a stickler on this is because, first off, I want students to know which topics are still available or which are not, okay? And so I would expect her to pick one of these 2 topics and then post that video in it as well. Okay, because you're supposed to cover 2 topics. All right, and then because this video covers 3 topics, what I would hope, I'm not going to take away credit if you don't do this, but if there's extra topics, then she should go down. So say she picks joint classifications. She wants to say, okay, I want to cover that topic too. So she posts this video here in joint classifications, and then she says, well, my video also covers this synovial joint. So what I'm going to do is, now I'm not going to post the video because then people might think that topic has been taken or used up a slot, because we are going to have some overlapping topics here, all right, where some students are going to, 2 students in a topic. And so what she'll post is she'll say, something like, hey, this information is also covered in the videos that are posted in joint classifications and joint parts. And that gives a message to students like, okay, this topic is still available, but if I want more information on this topic, I can go to the video there and find information. All right. And as a reminder, and so that kind of takes through that. Now, again, how do you know that a video covers a topic? The easiest way to do that, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stop share. I'm also going to go ahead and make myself the host. Let's go ahead and share this. So these are my PowerPoints right here. So you should be able to see that. All right. And I'll talk a little bit about this slide in a second, but let's just go and let's actually go to slide 75. Here we are. Nope. Further down. Okay. So here we go. Now, when I say it needs to cover 50% of the information on those slides, now I say don't worry about the picture because this has all this information here, okay, that are in this picture. It's extra information. You don't need to know it. If you, I've condensed my slides. What you need to know is on the slide. So what do you need to know? You need to know what and where articular surfaces are, and you need to know that these are the parts of bone that are in contact with each other. You need to know that there is something called articular cartilage, and you need to know that articular cartilage protects the bone surface, right? So, and if you watch this video, these guys are going to go into greater detail in their videos and talk about it, but I just kind of tried to take it, boil it down to this is what you need to know for the test, all right? This is what you need to know. And I tell students, if you see a question and you feel this was not in our notes, then come and challenge me on it. Now there will be some problems where I make you do a little bit of critical thinking. All right. A good example might be, identifying bones. Okay. So I would expect you after this unit on the bones to know where your mandible is. All right. And so I might ask you, if someone threw a baseball at my face and I broke a bone there and it hit me in the jaw, which of these 4 bones is most likely to be injured? Now, I'd never told you, oh, if you break your jaw, you break, mandible, but you should be able to say, oh, well, okay, my jaw's right here. What bones are right here? And then, look. So there will be critical thinking, all right, where I have you think outside the box, but you would be able to get that from all of the information in here. And I've been going through my tests, and there are some questions that I'm going to change because I looked at them, I said, even though this is a critical thinking question, I'm expecting they need to know more than what's on my slides to answer this question. So I'm going to be going through and changing some test questions because I noticed I did that on a handful. And so feel free to challenge me. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll win, but I try to remain as open-minded as possible. And there have definitely been instances where I've given points back. All right. So when you're, sorry, I got sidetracked there. So how do I know it covers 50%? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 items here. So you need to cover at least 50%. So if you posted a video and the video mentions articular surfaces and it mentions the articular capsule and the fibrous layer and the synovial membrane and the synovial fluid and then a ligament, well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 9. So you've covered 50%. So that would be considered covering a topic. But if you post a video and all the video talks about is articular surfaces, it makes no mention of articular cartilage, the capsule, ligaments, tendons, synovial fluid, membrane, fibrous layer, then you can post that video, but I would expect you to post enough videos to cover 50% of the information on the slide. And there will be times where maybe say, there's something where it's a couple. So you would look and so what would you do? How do I know that it covers that? Well, watch the video, have next to you my notes, and highlight. I would go through and highlight. Oh, okay, it talks about articular surfaces. Oh, now it talked about articular capsule and the fibrous membrane, the synovial membrane. Boom, check, I've got 50%. All right, and so that way you'll know it covers 50%. And you might you know, and hopefully you guys would maybe read through or review the notes first, so you can kind of look through the video and be like, oh wait, I think I saw that, like, you know, in the third video. I mean, obviously I'm very familiar with the notes. I look, oh, this was talking about joint classifications too. So you jump over here and you say, hey, this covers everything on joint classifications. Oh, that's awesome. Well, now I have a 2-for-1 video, right? Because you were, you know, and so you might have originally gone through and picked, oh, I called dibs on this one, and then you find a video that covers both, like, oh, well, I want, you know. So, you know, before you start calling dibs, or when you're calling dibs on videos, I'll allow you, you know, to say, hey, I want this without actually posting the video. If you want, if I have enough students complain, maybe we'll change it. But, you know, I would suggest trying to pick things with slides that are close to each other. So don't just be like, oh, this one's two slides worth of information. This slide way down here is 2 slides. You know, pick a couple that are clustered together and where they are in the slides in my PowerPoints, and hopefully that'll make it easier for you to find videos. All right, so let's go back up and talk a little bit about this right here. All right. So I also try to boil this down and make it really easy for you to be able to know where you should be concentrating when you're studying. All right, so right here, most important question, most important. So this information will be highlighted in red. And now I say questions featuring this information will be worth more on the test. That's slightly misleading. It's worth more on the lab practicals, okay? On the test, it's every question is worth 1 point. But what you'll find is that, for example, if I go down to, let's go down to bones of the skull. All right, so here you see these are all the bones of the skull you need to know, and they're in red, so they're worth more points. You come over here to parts of the temporal bone, which is one of these, it's in red, okay? All right, so on a lab practical, the knowing what the temporal bone is might be worth 1 point, all right? And then knowing what the zygomatic arch is might be worth 2/3 of a point, all right? And then you come here and you see this here, this isn't green. If you know the mammillary process, it'll be worth 1/3 of a point. So what does that tell you? It says, oh, hey, why don't I learn the stuff in red first and direct my studying to the stuff in red and learn that really well. And then honestly, if you learned only the red stuff in my slides, I can guarantee you'll probably easily pull a C, if not a B on the test, all right? The stuff in black will pull you up. If you know a lot of that stuff, it'll pull you up into the B, A range also, you know? And then that green is just kind of like, oh, hey, I remember seeing that on the slide. That's like your grade, all right? So on those lab practicals, you know, but then you'll see, well, what about the information that isn't on the lab practical, all right? Which is mostly the physiology, all right? If it's anatomical, such as identifying bones or parts of something, it'll be on the lab practical. If it's physiology, like for example, knowing about, you know, enchondral bone formation, that you have a hyaline model and then a bony collar, all right? This is more physiology. So this isn't something that would necessarily be on the lab practical. And actually, I'll show you guys how you can tell exactly what's going to be lab practical, all right? And so this, all right, information, so you see, oh, enchondral bone formation is in red, okay, but this is in black. Well, that's essentially telling you, look, what's important is to know that enchondral bone formation, all right, is forming of bones in the fetus, all right? And then these are extra steps. So it can also concentrate you when you're just learning for your own personal knowledge, right? You know, if a doctor came up and talk to you about enchondral bone formation, it would probably be more important to know what he's talking about than being able to list off, oh, the 4, 5, 6 steps are hyaline model forms, bony collar, central calcification, cavity development. Okay, but what is that happening in? I don't know. Well, it's happening in a fetus, right? That would be more important. So I try to highlight these things so that you know where to focus your attention for your own learning. And so this will also help you, you know, and the way I have these lab practicals set up is also kind of nice for you if you're going into a nursing program, or even if you're pre-med and going to go in to become a medical doctor. All right, that also allows you to focus your efforts. You might say, well, I don't want to be an orthopedist. All right, you know, I want to be a pathophysiologist, and so you're going to want to know about cells. So you might go and you might say, well, I'm going to study the anatomy that has to do more with cells and skin, or if you want to be a dermatologist and know that really well and concentrate less time on the bones, okay, and know that stuff. And so it allows you to focus your study based on your needs. All right. I think that goes through that. Let's go ahead and come back over to, let's see, let's come back over to, where is it? Here we go. All right. Let's see, grades, assignments. I feel like there's discussions. Oh yes, that was the other thing. So if you come over here to files, actually, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to home. Rather, might pull up better there. Okay, Unit 1 Lab Practical Study Guide. So I'm going to open this up. So you want to know, well, what anatomy is going to be on the lab practical? Well, what do you know? I list exactly what from my slides is going to be on the lab practical. All right. So you'll want to know, be able to identify from vision, like what is a sagittal plane, a coronal plane, and a transverse plane? And oh, hey, knowing that is going to be worth 2/3 of a point. All right. Whereas, oh, hey, I'm going to have to be able to visually identify prophase 1, all of the steps of mitosis and meiosis. All right, so I'm going to concentrate my efforts there, and then I might not worry so much about this, but oh, okay, he wants us to know about these connective tissues here a lot more than the single squamous and stuff. So I'm going to concentrate on that. Then I'm going to concentrate on this and learn that really well. You know, all this stuff that's underlined, because it's going to be worth 1 point on the practical. All right, and then later you can come back and you can learn, you know, the less important and, you know, of regular importance and then of least importance. And so you can guide your studying like that. All right, and I usually, you know, now this here is not 100%. You can't, if I have something on the lab practical that wasn't on here, okay, that doesn't count. If it's in my PowerPoint slides, then it's challengeable. This here, there are some things that I find a picture of and I forget to put it on here, you know, or some things that I have listed that I end up not finding a picture for. All right, and so, you know, I don't want, well, I studied this information, it wasn't on the lab practical. Well, I mean, you know, this is for your benefit. This is extra, all right, out of the way. Talking a little bit about how the tests work. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and, believe it or not, I'm going to pull up the first lab practical. Okay, yeah, and you might wonder why I would even do that, and it's because of the way I write them. So let's go ahead and let's preview right here. All right. And you'll see why I do this. So quiz instructions. I'm just going to go through this. So when you come to a test, all right, it's going to give you, oh, you know, all right, what does this identify? And you're going to go ahead and you're going to be able to type in, you know, this is, that looks like fibrocartilage. All right. This here looks like, that looks like telophase 2. Phase 2. All right, right there. You may want, why is he even writing the answers? Well, here's the thing. I put everything on here. All right, and so you'll see as I scroll down, I have every single thing that is listed on there is up. Now that doesn't mean I want you to know everything to get 100%. No, This means that you can say, oh, well, I concentrated on knowing, oh, hey, this looks like metaphase 1 right there. I know that. All right, but I cannot for the life of me figure out what this is. So I'm going to skip it. And you know what? It's a point building system. So this gets you 1 point. Knowing, where was it? That got you 1 point, and that got you 1 point. So you have 3 points. And they're about on here, actually, if you go back to, let's go off of the preview. Can I keep editing this quiz? So there are available 151.77 points available in the test. But the passing, to get a 100%, you need 100 points. So that means there's 50 points of stuff that you can skip. And again, what does this allow you to do? It allows you to concentrate on, what do I want to learn? What's important? Concentrate on, there's about, now there are what, 260 bones in the body, but those are individual bones. There are about, I think, like 50 to 80 different bones in the body. And so if you just learn 50 of those, all 50 bones in the body, right there, that's 50 out of 100, that's a 50%. You don't even know metaphase, you don't even know mitosis, meiosis, all right? Strategize, take your time, all right? And yeah, it might look daunting when you look at, holy crap, I have to know. You don't have to know all of it, all right? And I figure you might want, well, why don't we just do the, you pick one item, and then you have 50 of those. And I don't like that because, again, if you can know 10 points out of 12 points on a bone. If I happen to pick that 11th or 12th one you don't know, you miss that point. All right, so this allows you to tell me, what do you know? And yeah, I should expect you, if you were going to get 100% in this class, you should know 66% of the anatomical information that we cover in class, if you're going to ace this class with 100%. And that's my expectation for you. But you know what? If you know 50% of the bones, well, that's going to be about 70%. That's pretty good. All right, so that's how those quizzes work. All right, for the lab practical. All right, you won't be so lucky as to have me going over the regular test, but I think that about covers it. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop share. Anthony, since you're here, do you have any questions? Anything you would like me to go over or clarify? Maybe he's dead. Your microphone is still muted, in case that you were wondering if that was the issue. Maybe my volume isn't high enough. I've had that be the issue before, if you're trying to talk to me. Nope, I'm at 100. Okay, I think that about covers everything I wanted to go over. Oh, let's go over the projects real quick. Section 1 project. Each of these are worth 35 points. Let's go over project number 2. Is that going to give me? So with this one, you're going to be building bones out of clay models. Honestly, you can be as creative as you want. All right, use artistic license. It said your artistic abilities will not be taken into account. However, it is necessary that I can tell that you can distinguish each landmark. I had someone, they had to build a heart model, and they made frosted cookies. Oh no, I don't think I'm sharing. Anyhow, but that doesn't matter. So if you go to Unit 1, Section 2 project, you'll see you have to make bones out of clay, and you can make your own clay. There's a video there. Be creative. If you want to use rods and something, as long as I can tell, oh yeah, like they knew what they were doing when they made this, then you'll be safe. All right, And I'll try and post examples. The benefit of the fact that I taught this last semester, I can give you some examples from last class. I never took pictures. It's from when I taught this class in person. So I don't have any pictures. I have a couple of pictures, but I can't find them. So I'll try and post examples so you know what you're looking at. But be creative. I'm always impressed. I'm always afraid people won't know what to do, but when I see the creativity and the way people do them, I know it's pretty. You can do this. And if there are any questions, contact me. I'll help you. Okay. All right. And it looks like Anthony still doesn't have anything. Any questions? So give you about 5 seconds, and we'll go ahead and end the meeting. So that's it. All right. Good luck. Direct any questions to me, and I will get to you as soon as possible. And again, that email, dtdoobie.dc, use that for emergencies. Because yeah, after about the first unit, I start getting a little bit slower on response rates. So yeah. All right. Bye.